Get my 6. Watch for movement, listen for strange sounds, and you're really going to have to be the ones looking back there, because as you can tell, I'm staring straight into the sun. Usually make these videos when I do 2 a day. I hope to do 2 a day. I'm very busy, and it's because of you, and I want to thank you for making me busy, and it's all going to make sense here in just a minute. But I usually do it at a different location or a little later, so the sun's not blinding me, but it's blinding me. I wanted to get out here somewhat earlier than usual to say thank you and to tell you why and to read to you. Many of you really enjoyed those readings from October nights from the month of October. I'm going to be reading something to you today because I finally have the answer. This guy's worded it better than I ever could. I want to give some shout outs, but here's what's going on. Okay. You remember just, 10 hours ago or something. It was just yesterday evening. It's still morning of the next day. I came up here and I did my little infomercial, made the video called "This Bigfoot Sasquatch video is going to piss a lot of people off." Where I, offered the autographed picture, 8x10 of me with potentially blown up image here of what may or may not be a Bigfoot Sasquatch in the background. My authentic, original Bigfoot Sasquatch tools, both signed, autographed also, along with this, with words of wisdom on the back. They sold out. They're gone. Just not to drag it out. I put that video up and came out and split some wood because I had about an hour of daylight left, and went in after that and was like, wow, people are actually buying these things. Went to bed a little bit later than that, a little after that. I was in bed earlier than usual because I just had a long day yesterday. I was so busy going to the printers, setting up P.O. boxes and all this stuff, plus exercising, ran 3 miles, splitting firewood, reading a lot, wrote some, and then had family time. I'm a busy guy. And no, I'm not manic, and no, I don't have adult ADHD, and nothing against anybody that has those things. But here's the deal. We don't have to label everything. Some of us just like to get stuff done, and that's who I am. I like to get stuff done. Okay, so I got a lot of stuff done yesterday, went to bed earlier than usual, woke up this morning around 6:45, and got online and was shocked to see that every single one of these kits sold out overnight. It started out kind of quasi as a joke, but not really, because it was really an idea that I've been formulating for a while. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. I hope to motivate you. I hope to inspire you. But they sold out overnight. And so I've been up all morning. Look at this. I accidentally cut myself. I got like a cardboard cut because we're packing these things. They're 8x10s, and we're putting the kits in 9x12 manila envelopes, making sure to cut cardboard and tape it together. So, and we're going to write, they're all packed except this. This is the last one. Writing photo, don't bend. Hopefully the post office pays attention. But I worked there for 6 months. I know they don't care. So we hope that your photos get to you unbent. Good news is I put in an order for 50 more. So if you do go to the Etsy store, and there is a link to that in the description box of this video and the last video, as well as a link to all my books, and the merch shelf is there. They are available, and these will be here in just a matter of a couple of days. Got a pretty quick relationship with the printer, so they will be here in time to get them shipped out on time. And I'm kind of thinking we're going to have to order 50 more probably before the weekend's over. Based upon last night. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. People are always like, these are the vertically challenged individuals that live under bridges. And this is part of our topic today. They're always like, you need a job. Well, you folks just gave me another job. Guys, this morning, I have never cut as many red circles and blue rectangles in such a short period in my, multi-year career, we'll call it, of being a cryptozoologist. Of course, I just developed these tools a couple of years ago, but so anyway, okay, listen. I do a lot of stuff tongue-in-cheek on here. I'll snub my nose at, by talking about, I'll do something phenomenal, like win a 5K foot race here. And, I'm going to win the 2020 Tokyo Summer Olympic 1,500 meter final this fall, 2020 here in Virginia. I'm going to do it. I'm training for it. And when I do those things, and I talk about doing it as a disabled combat veteran, I'm snubbing those who said I couldn't do it. The doctors that told me I would never run without pain again, when I accomplish these goals and I make comments about it, it's to really, and most people get it, but every now and then there's somebody that'll comment that'll say, you shouldn't focus on that. Listen, so much of it's tongue-in-cheek. I have a very dry, witty, we have so many English fans. And by the way, we received messages last night, will you please make these kits available for sale in the UK because we love your show? They are. Somebody from Canada wanted some. They're available worldwide. I believe I've got the settings set correctly on our Etsy store. It's called Homesteading Haven. Go check it out. If it's not correct, please message me again and I'll make sure to fix it. But I believe I've got it set up for worldwide sales. But now I've got to tell you, you're going to pay hefty shipping because of overseas shipping. That's just how it goes. So anyway, the English get it because my sense of humor is more in line with like the English dry, witty, more so than slapstick. That's funny sometimes, but I kind of outgrew that stuff. But it is every now and then Adam Sandler gets it right again, and I've been compared to Bill Murray. I've considered that an honor because he's one of the greats. I like Bill Murray because he's hilarious and he's clean. He doesn't use foul language. He's not disgusting. He's not gross. People under 18 can watch most of his movies and not have a problem with it. Bill Murray's very sarcastic. He's very facetious. Okay, so I'm the same way. So what that brings me to is this. This was a way to kind of snub my nose at the vertically challenged individuals who live under bridges. And that's facetiousness right there. That's how I say trolls. I'm making fun of them and the politically correct stuff at the same time. They're vertically challenged people that live under bridges, okay? But my main focus is on the positive people and the true supporters. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to prove that. I'm going to give a shout out right here, right now to one who lives in Australia. Alyssa Parrish, Rock Fam. Been here a couple of years. I will do stuff tongue-in-cheek to snub my nose at the trolls and profit from it. It's amazing. It's ridiculous, guys. And I give thanks to God because that's where all credit is due. And those who support us, like Alyssa Parrish Rock Fam, are hundreds of thousands of true supporters. My wife, my son, close relationships I have here. But Alyssa Parrish Rock Fam, about a month or so ago, recommended I read this book called The Leader Who Had No Title. Surprise, surprise, folks, those of you who comment, if I know you're positive and I know you're supportive, I actually kind of put some credence into your recommendations. So I got this book, started it this week, and I'm about halfway through. And I'm going to read a segment of it for you here in a minute, and I'm going to give due credit. This is copywritten material written by Robin Sharma. He's an author, best-selling author, world-renowned, and a motivational speaker. So all credit is due him, okay? These are not my words. These are his. But I read a portion of that book this morning before I got to work on these kits that really nailed home the point I try to make that he made in much better language than I do. I often talk about how people who don't know how to win, and this is me being facetious too. I don't want to call them losers because that's just mean. And I do believe in this be kind to everybody thing that's kind of going on. But I also believe if you're going to say that, practice it. Be kind to everybody. Love thy neighbor, no exceptions. Okay, that means the people that live beside you who might think differently than you politically or whatever, might have different worldviews. You got to love them too. If you're not willing to do that, stop saying love your neighbor, no exceptions. If you're not willing to be kind to them, stop saying be kind to everybody. Being nice matters if you're not doing it to everybody. If you're not doing it to someone, not because they're being mean to you, now that's a different story, but because they have different views and different opinions than you, you're being a hypocrite. You're not practicing what you preach. Okay? So, I often talk about how these people that don't know how to win, rather than seeing someone who's successful and saying, what is it that person's doing that I could do more of to get to where they are? It's their natural tendency, it seems, to say, I'm going to tear them down. I'm going to criticize them, and I'm going to try to discourage them to such a degree that they give up. Because if they're not out there winning, that there won't be so much emphasis on the fact that I'm losing. If that guy or that girl isn't over there working so hard to succeed, if I don't have to see that person doing so much work right there in front of me, if I can discourage them enough to make them quit, then I don't have to look at myself and say, wow, I really don't do anything. I could be doing so much more to get to where I want to be, but I'd rather blame someone else. I'd rather blame whoever's leading, the government. I'd rather blame maybe somebody that did me wrong 15 years ago, maybe an ex-spouse, maybe an ex-business partner, maybe a former employer. I'd rather blame my current spouse because they just don't support me enough to go out there and do the work that guy or that girl's doing right there in front of me, and it drives me nuts. No. Buck up, cowboy. Accept personal responsibility. Okay? Listen to this. I'm going to read you the last sentence of this little thing I want to read to you here, this little excerpt. I'm going to read you the last sentence first, and then I'm going to read you the portion of this reading that I want to read you, and we're going to end again with that last sentence because it really hits home. Robin Sharma is the author. The title of the book, The Leader Who Had No Title. And it's kind of like a fable based upon some of his leadership beliefs and styles and things he's used. And he's trained business leaders. And you don't have to be a business person to get so much out of this. This can help you so much with life. Published first in Great Britain in 2010. Copyright 2010, Sharma Leadership International. This book is copywritten under Berne Convention, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the right of Robin Sharma to be identified as the author of this work has been asserted by him in accordance with sections blah, 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 blah. Copyright Act, 1988. So, his words, not mine. All credit due him, okay? We are not infringing upon any copywritten material here because we are giving full credit. But now listen to this. I got to get in grandpa mode here. I hope the sun isn't going to block. Now I can see. Okay, this is the last sentence of this point, very well made. Here's the situation in this book. It's written in the first person, so let's say Mr. Sharma here. He's somebody that doesn't really have any goals. He's somebody that shows up to work, does the bare minimum to get through his day, certainly doesn't consider doing anything extra, and, can think of all these other reasons why other people are more successful than him that have nothing to do with him. Okay? Sounds familiar, right? So, somebody comes into his life and kind of like tries to inspire him and teaches him about leadership skills, which can be transferred into everyday living skills, which allows you to achieve, not just in whatever your job is, but also just in your personal life, your personal relationships. And he takes him to visit 4 different trainers. And the first trainer, and this is the section we're going to be reading from today, she works in housekeeping in a hotel. She's almost 50. She's from somewhere in Latin America. Beautiful woman. She's a housekeeper. But you know what? She goes out of her way to be the best housekeeper in the world. And by doing that, she has inspired others. In this story, she works at a 5-star hotel. Movie stars go there regularly. They request her to service their room. This is how much of an impact she's made on these people by doing her job better than anybody else in the world can do it. By caring so much about a job or a duty that so many people would consider insignificant, okay? Perhaps like making silly videos on YouTube, okay? Or anything, no matter what it is you do, every job is important, okay? So do it better than anybody else in the world. Okay, so she's talking to the main character here, and this is some of the things she's saying to him, but here's the last sentence. We're going to read it first. Criticism. Because, we hear about, we were talking about this summer, people who like to garden, but then you have that one a-hole neighbor that comes over and tells you how cheap vegetables are at the grocery store. They criticize you. They're trying to discourage you, to try to keep you from doing the things you enjoy because they're miserable. Misery loves company, and they simply just don't like seeing you happy. Okay? So listen to this. Criticism is the defense reaction that scared people use to protect themselves against change. Criticism is the defense reaction that scared people use to protect themselves against change. That nails it, and I'm going to read you the passage to confirm it, but it reminds me of this channel. I had people in my life, physically, not just online, but, people that lived close to me, people I was working with at the post office. I'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and come out here and make 2 or 3 videos for this channel, beat it into the post office by 8 or 9 or 10 a.m. So, when I started varied, and I would work till 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes I wouldn't get home till midnight. And And I'd be at work, and I'd be telling some of the folks I worked with at the post office, you know, I made these videos this morning for my channel. I remember I went training with a guy one day. He said, I'll support you, I'll subscribe. He got on his phone, he subscribed to this channel. This was 2 years and maybe 2.5 years ago, okay? 2 years, 6 months. Got on there, subscribed. He said, I'm your 72nd subscriber. So this channel, Homesteading Off the Grid, as of right now, has approximately 221,000 subscribers. 2.5 years ago, that guy that trained me to be a mailman was my 72nd subscriber. And I told him the plans I had for the channel, and, you know, I've been successful in other social media platforms before, and this is what we're going to do. And he's like, that sounds great. That sounds great. He's very supportive. I loved working with that guy. I got excited every time I saw him, okay? There were others. I'd tell them, and they'd laugh. They'd laugh. They'd say, that's crazy. That's not going to work. Are you serious? Like, social media, that's for millennials. That's for, you're like old. It's like, you got gray hair. Who's going to watch you grow green beans? Who cares about that? Who's going to watch you walk around in the woods and talk about stuff that maybe happened in Iraq or things you experienced in Southeast Asia? Who cares about that? Those same people, when I gave my 2 weeks notice to quit, because it's 6 months at the post office and making 2 to 3 videos a day, every day out here, and then eventually finally going viral and being able to make it on this, were begging me to set them up on YouTube. One guy said, hey, I got an idea. You make me a YouTube channel and then have me in one of your videos and tell your people to go to my channel and I'm there too. And I said, no. This guy laughed at me more than anybody over that 6-month period. I said, you start your own YouTube channel. You do the work involved to get to 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours watch time, which gets you to monetization, and then I'll plug your channel. That's the most I'll ever do for you. And guys, it goes back to the story of the little red hen. Wanted to bake the bread. Nobody wanted to help her until they could smell the final product. Then they all wanted to help her eat it. Okay? And so anyway, and then there were people that lived close to me that would stop by and they'd say, what are you doing? You know, they would video bomb me, some of these people. They'd drive them by or whatever. And I'd tell them what I'm doing. They'd laugh. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Well, there's no way to get views on YouTube anymore because the algorithms change and you've just got to have a website and you got to charge people. I said, no. It took Thomas Edison 10,000 times of figuring out how not to make a light bulb work before he could figure out how to make the light bulb work. Kept going. The people kept laughing. Started getting successful. The people started getting standoffish. They started becoming critical. They started talking about how stupid my viewers were for watching my videos, because who believes in Bigfoot Sasquatch? Now they just don't even come around, and thank God for small favors. That's how it goes. Slip back into grandfather mode here. Let me read you this. Again, Robin Sharma. All the credit. But this woman, this girl in housekeeping, listen what she tells him. She says, success truly is a numbers game. And those that become the best and brightest leaders in their work, it's not about being a political leader. It's not about leading a large Fortune 500 company. It's about doing the best you can do at your job, no matter what it is. Housekeeping, being a clerk at the post office, making silly videos on YouTube, okay? Those who become the best and the brightest leaders at their work are those that develop the mindset of failure not being an option. Too many people throw in the towel on that new idea that will make the business better. Or that new tactic that will bring the team closer the second they face a little resistance. But the very nature of leadership is such that you dream bigger dreams and act with greater mastery. You will meet with greater resistance. The more you leave your valleys of comfort in passionate pursuit of your mountains of opportunity, the more obstacles you'll face as you make your climb. Setbacks will happen. Things will go wrong. Competitors will try to knock you down. And even the people around you will try to discourage you. Exactly what I just told you. Those who are clinging to the old way of doing things and frightened of change will join hands and become your loudest critics. Those who maybe are miserable with their job and they see you doing something to get out of it so that you can pursue your happiness and your passion, they don't want to see you make it out because they haven't made it out. But the thing is, they haven't even tried. They will claim you are doing something that's wrong, rocking the boat, and basically being abnormal. And that would be true. Going back to the vertically challenged individuals who live under bridges. He's just making these videos so he can sell books. I found out he's a writer. I took that idea and ran with it, and we're selling thousands of books a month. Thank you to the supporters. He's probably just making those videos so he can sell t-shirts. We buy our groceries and the gas for our new truck every month from the money we receive from selling t-shirts on Teespring on our merch shelf. Thank you to those who support us. He's probably going to just sell autographed pictures of him with the potential Bigfoot Sasquatch in the background. Sold out in one night. Thank you for those who support us. Listen, here's the final paragraph. To have the guts to see opportunities where others see challenges and to envision things becoming a whole lot better while others grow complacent is to become a visionary. And most of us are just too scared to go there. More people are just too threatened by the change one needs to move through en route to a better version of your greatest vision. They just can't bear to let go of all they've known and release their needy clinging to the way things have always been. So anyone who thinks and behaves differently from them will be called abnormal or crazy. Because most people just can't break free from their past by stepping up to becoming and doing more. And rather than applauding someone with the pure guts and raw drive to innovate, recreate, and excel, I call that grit, by the way. The mob condemns them, shouts them down, mocks and ridicules them. That guy's crazy. He needs to be on his meds. That's what half of them say. The other half say, whatever meds you're on, you need to stop taking. Get it all the time. Okay? Mocks them, ridicules them, becomes their loud-mouthed critics. But the truth of the matter is that's just the coping mechanism of individuals afraid to grow. And again, criticism is the defense reaction that scared people use to protect themselves against change. So guys, I don't go out of my way of explaining myself, but to those folks who truly do support me and don't get my dry, witty, kind of cynical, facetious humor, when I do these things, it's not because I'm focusing on the vertically challenged individuals who live under trolls. Wait a minute. I'm not focusing on vertically challenged individuals that live under bridges. This is my way of saying, you know what? I'm going to do what I want to do. And what I want to do is be successful so I can provide the best family for my wife and my son. One of these individuals who used to come around and criticize and became more and more envious as our success grew and grew and grew, and who doesn't come around anymore, once tried to knock me down when I was a mailman because, he was talking about how much it must suck working 12 hours a day. I once went 17 days straight without a day off, and he shook his head and said, well, I would just never do that. I said, yeah, it's hard, because he was complaining about being broke and not even having enough money to pay his credit card payments that month. I'm like, dude, I can get you a job at the post office. It's hard work. But you'll be able to take care of your responsibilities. And he goes, I could just never do that. And I'm like, why not? And you know what he says? He says, because it's a labor position, and I would just never do a labor position. I'm above that. You know what I told him? I mentioned this in a video about a month ago, but I left out my response. What I said is, you know what? I've never been above doing what I need to do to take care of my family. And of course, he had no response to that. But that's the truth of it. So listen, you go out there today and you do what you want to do. You do something great. You be the best in the world at what it is you're doing, okay? And when people come around to criticize you because, you're working in your garden and vegetables are so cheap at the store, you're putting in some blueberry bushes and blueberries are so cheap at the store. These people tell you this stuff. Remember, say to them, what is it about you that makes what I'm doing feel so uncomfortable about yourself? And you have every right to say that to that person because that's exactly what's going on. They are criticizing you because they're afraid to step outside of what they've always done and what they've always known to do something that makes them happy. That's all it is. You know what the worst thing that can happen if you do that is? You will get the best result. And that best result will be that you offend that person so much by calling them out on their crap, they never come over and criticize you again. so you'll have more time to spend gardening and less time having to deal with envious idiots. So guys, again, I want to thank the legions of you who overnight bought these things out. We ordered 50 more this morning. The listing is active again in Etsy because they'll be here in 2 to 3 days. Plenty of time before the actual ship date if you do purchase them. Links in the description box. Can't thank you enough. I cannot thank you enough. 10 years ago, me and my family were down and out in the Philippines. We had nothing. We had no running water. We had no electricity. We had no hopes of making it back to this great country. But we're here living the dream, and it's because of you. Sure, the vertically challenged individuals that come along and they harass us, they give us ideas, and we run with them all the way to the bank. It's your support and your encouragement that keeps us here and keeps us coming back and allows us to live the life that we fantasized about living for many years. We're living it now. We want you to go out and live that life too. So, as Nike would say, just do it.